What if you could never die? Not as a blessing, but as a punishment. No escape, no end, only time and pain. A warrior, cursed to walk this earth for thousands of years. Wounded, forgotten, still alive. And the most terrifying part? Some believe he's still here. This is the story of Ashwatthama. Not just a warrior, but a man who became a legend for all the wrong reasons. Born to Dronacharya, one of the greatest teachers of all time, Ashwatthama was destined for greatness, trained in the art of war, raised with discipline, and driven by one purpose: to honor his father. Then came the war of Kurukshetra, a war not just of weapons, but of destiny, and Ashwatthama entered it, not as a hero, but as a son, fighting for his father's pride. But what doesn't follow rules and truth is often the first casualty. Through deception, Dronacharya was defeated, not in battle, but in belief. And in that moment, something inside Ashwatthama broke. Grief turned into anger, and anger turned into something far more dangerous. Not a warrior, but a man consumed by revenge. And when revenge takes control, there are no limits. That night, under the silence of darkness, Ashwatthama entered the enemy camp. Not for honor, not for battle, but for revenge. And what followed was not war, it was destruction. In his rage, he crossed a line from which there was no return. The innocent fell, and the warrior he once was disappeared forever. Because some actions do not just change your life, they define your fate. But even that wasn't enough. Blinded by anger, Ashwatthama unleashed the Brahmastra, a weapon so powerful it could destroy everything. And in that moment, he didn't just challenge his enemies, he challenged the universe itself. And then came the consequence. Krishna stood before him, not as a warrior, but as justice. And what he gave Ashwatthama was not death, it was something far worse. He was cursed to live forever, but not as a king, not as a warrior, as a man who would never heal, a wound that would never close, a life that would never end. Years passed, then centuries, then thousands of years. Kingdoms rose and fell, but Ashwatthama remained, alone, watching the world move on, while he stayed trapped in the same moment forever. And this is where the story becomes unsettling, because some believe this wasn't just a story, that somewhere in the shadows of this world, Ashwatthama still walks. Stories, sightings, whispers in forgotten places. A man with a wound that never heals, appearing and reminding us that some legends never end. Because in the end, Ashwatthama didn't lose his life. He lost his peace. And sometimes, the greatest punishment is not death, it's living forever with the weight of your own choices. So now, think about this. If you were given a choice to live forever, but carry your pain with you for eternity, would you still choose immortality? Or is death the real mercy?